What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very special Random Redshirt podcast episode. I am one of your hosts, Zach, and with me, as always, is the other host, Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Zach. Great to be here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the interwebs as usual. Super awesome to be here. I apologize in advance because I'm super tired.
We
but
both are.
yeah, but that's okay. We are special. We are in person in the same room.
Only the second time ever.
Yeah, it was just pretty special. We haven't seen each other in well over a year. So this is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, great to be together again at this event. And it's been a fantastic start to this event, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, for those of you who've never watched the Random Redshirt podcast on YouTube or have listened to us on any of the podcast platforms, we are a couple of nerdy guys who like to talk about nerdy stuff, to include Star Trek, Star Wars, and everything in between. We talk a lot about science fiction, pop culture, that kind of stuff. We do talk a lot about Star Trek, but we are not exclusively a Star Trek podcast. And if Be sure to go on to Facebook, Instagram, our fairly new YouTube channel. It's been out for a few weeks, but we only have a handful of episodes on there because when we first started the podcast, we only recorded with audio. We didn't do video. That's why there's only a limited amount on there. So be sure to go check all those out and follow us, like us, subscribe, all that kind of cool stuff. But we are here at the time of this recording in LA for a special Shuttlepod show live event. We were very fortunate enough to get the opportunity to come down here. And Mark and Erica, two of the show's producers, um, really went over the top, I think, to take care of us and take care of everybody who came down. They were such gracious hosts. And Dominic Keating, Connor Turnier from Star Trek Enterprise were here. Obviously, they're part of the podcast, and we had a unbelievable weekend. Very quick, not a lot of sleep, but we've been busy. We have we got to be a part of the Shuttlepod show live recording in front of an audience, and that we'll talk about that in a minute. And at the end, we're gonna astound you with a couple of amazing future guests that we've got lined up as a result of coming down here. So, Chris, let's start with you. What were some of your initial thoughts of this event, and what did this kind of event mean to you moving forward?
Yeah. Some of my initial thoughts and my initial thoughts and feelings were it was a very warm and welcoming and kind of intimate and smaller event. So that was really, really nice. And I have been extremely touched by and the graciousness that the hosts have had, that Mark has had, that Eric has had, and how warm and gracious both Dominic and Connor have had from the Shuttlepod show. That has been terrific, and they've just felt so. They've expressed so much gratitude for everyone that has come down. So, in that respect, it's just been felt very warm. It's a completely different atmosphere than convention, of course, um, and so the activities and the events are completely different. You know, the activities are much more personal, much more close, and some of the things that we get to watch, like today, we got to watch some wonderful and funny like musical performances from Jeffrey Combs and Vaughn. So that was incredible to see, and just hearing some kind of free form conversation and organic discussion from Mark, Erica, Connor, and Dominic was was awesome. And that's something that you don't necessarily get to see in a convention. And we sure did get to learn a lot about them here, which is wonderful. Yeah. What do you think?
I would echo everything you said and then some. Um, this event was really fantastic. They wanted to make the Shuttlepod show, wanted to make this event a kind of an intimate setting where they're bringing the community together, community of podcasters, community of fans, to just have this kind of weekend together, and celebrate Star Trek and celebrate, being part of this amazing community that we're part of. And so, yeah, we're real fortunate to be here. And As I think back and through my clouded, tired brain, um, we had some amazing experiences. You know, all the conventions I've gone to over the years, uh, pale in comparison to the amount of access we had to people. I mean, we were standing out in the lobby after the first big event they did, which was a table read of the Odd Couple, where the Odd Couple were Dominic Keating and Connor Trinneer, right, from Shuttlepod Show, and then they had a myriad of other Star Trek actors as played other roles. They had Jeffrey Combs, they had Vaughn Armstrong, Andy Robinson, who played Garrick. They had Nanot Visitor. They had, and I forgive me, I can't remember her name. It's Bonnie.
Oh,
Remember her name? Yeah, it was John Billings' wife, because he was supposed to be here, but he couldn't. He had to go film something. And they had Srock Lofton at one point for a different reading. And it was really special. The Odd Couple table read was fantastic. Everybody was so funny. Walter Koenig, obviously, too, a part of it. And so after that table read, we went out into the lobby, and we just stood there for like 15, 20 minutes and just hung out and talked to Walter Koenig, I guess. That was amazing. In fact, one of my favorite things from the weekend that I got was you can't see it. He signed my Babylon 5 trading card as Bester. That was pretty cool. So yeah, so the first kind of real big event they had was the table read for the Odd Couple, right? And then they had like some after party stuff and a bunch of other little events here and there that we went to, some trivia time, some karaoke time, hanging out with folks. Then they had the read of the Shuttlepod 1, which is the episode that they based the name of the show off of. If you don't know the episode Shuttlepod 1 from Enterprise, it's the episode where Trip and Malcolm Reed are stranded in the shuttle, and they're going to die because there's no one around to help them. And they're waiting for Enterprise to show up, and it's just it's a wonderful, wonderful episode. So they did that table read, which is amazing to see them back in character for the first time, which is incredible. In at least first time I've seen them in person like that. And then the big event, which was this evening, which was their live Shuttlepod show episode that they recorded in front of a live audience, including us. And we got a really awesome opportunity. That episode's not out yet. You will see that on their website or on their YouTube channel and their podcast platforms. We will share that with you when it comes out. We got to be up on the stage, and we got to be a part of the show. So talk about that. Tell the audience here what and our listeners what that experience was like.
It was a terrific experience, and this again goes to the terrific and great graciousness that Mark, Erica, Dominic, and Connor had to invite us up and be part of that show, and to allow us to kind of explore and ask some questions, and that hearing their responses to our questions and being able to learn about them personally and learn about their lives was just a real treat for Zach and I, and hopefully everyone that gets to see them respond to there. And what kind of, what warm and generous questions they were. So we can't wait for you guys to see that and kind of learn about who they are as people, because that's what was really, really special. That's how I felt.
Yeah, it was really fantastic to be part of that episode. Excuse me, in front of a live audience, and really cool. Yeah, really cool, really gracious. It was not something we were expecting coming down here. It was something that they came up with. So really grateful for that opportunity to ask them some questions. And oh, by the way, we are looking forward to having Dominic and Connor on with us on a future episode of the Random Redshirt podcast. Talk about a longer interview where we talk about their careers and their lives, and obviously Enterprise and their time on that show. So that's, excuse me, a little teaser for you out there, having Dominic Keating and Connor on a future episode of the Random Redshirt podcast. But we also got a couple of yeses from some other guests that were here. And should we spoil that? They're not. We don't have a date yet, but coming soon on the Random Redshirt pod. Well, maybe not soon, but in the near future, we are going to have Srock Lofton and Nanot Visitor from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You know my love for Deep Space Nine.
I know. Yeah.
You do, don't you? Yes.
Yeah.
You all know. You all know D9. So that is really, really important. And we're really looking forward to uh, having those guests on with us, and it should be a lot of fun. So this now we're back. No, okay, it's okay. This is what happens when we record in the same room. We don't know what we're doing because we have our two microphones and our computers, and we're using all the same. We're good. So, this weekend was really special. We had an opportunity to have conversations with like Dana and Sirach and Dominic and Connor and Walter Koenig and Vaughn and Jeffrey Combs and all these guests who've been here that you never would get at a Star Trek convention. You just don't get that. I've been to enough to know you do not get that. And so it says we're muted, but maybe we're not. So it was great. Yeah. It was really fantastic. I enjoyed this quite a bit. And we wanted to bring this to you to kind of give our reaction to what we just went through. And I hope it sounds like the Shuttlepod show is going to try to do this again at some point, and hopefully we can make it back down again. But this was a really fun time that we had. Obviously, get a chance to hang out in person for the first time in a while, as well as being down here and being around all these folks. And yeah, it was truly a blessing. We're humbled to be down here, and a lot more great stuff coming from the Random Redshirt podcast really soon, and some stuff down the road that we're working on as well. Other guests we're working on too. So we have a lot of stuff lined up. We've talked about this in the show. Season 4 could be the best season yet. And we've had some real fantastic experiences and episodes we've done in the past. So also, if you haven't watched it yet, it premiered today. So we kind of double dipped a little bit. Our episode we recorded for Strange New Pods Captain Picard Week also was out today. So you can go check that out on the Strange New Pods YouTube channel and their podcast platforms. It will be coming to our podcast soon. Within the next week or so, we'll post it, and you can see it on this podcast here. But yeah, just overall thoughts of this event. And did you have a specific experience or a specific thing that really stood out to you that really just kind of capped the weekend and made this thing really worth it?
Yeah, I did. All of it was wonderful, but I will say that I think this idea was the genesis of Mark, to have stage readings of the plays of The Odd Couple and stage readings of the episode Shuttlepod 1. I think those stage readings by those actors were excellent. Those stood out to me because you feel the intensity of the reading, first of all, and you feel the direct energy from the actors that are putting themselves like into that part. Along with like there's a lot of funny things that happen during those live stage readings. But what I really liked was, Shuttlepod 1. It's an excellent episode by itself. Yeah. On Enterprise, but feeling that personal intensity and energy coming from them, live, that stands out to me.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It's really hard. I mean, that time we got with Walter was really special. I mean, he's Star Trek royalty. He's one of the originals. The obviously our time getting to spend together, which is really cool, and seeing each other in person. That to me was the number one thing, was getting a chance to see each other in person again and hang out and do this. The meeting Mark and Eric in person and talking with them some more. And there was so much that happened the last 2 days, but we did want to bring you a little bit of kind of what we saw. We met a lot of great people too, people that came down here for this event. We met a lot of great people. I had a chance to share the podcast with them, had a chance to have conversations about Star Trek, about life. It was a lot of fun. So we wanted to kind of bring you in the raw, right? In this case, with just so raw. This is yes, very much. And the editing on this is going to be interesting to say the least. But we wanted to bring this to you as close to us ending our time as possible, to give you kind of that instant, almost near real time reaction. And like I said, we're super grateful. If you have never watched Shuttlepod show on YouTube or listened to them on their podcast platforms, please go check them out. They are fantastic. They've had so many amazing guests, some unbelievably incredible episodes with some unbelievable guests. I think I've already said that. That's twice now. So this is my tired brain kicking in. I apologize. Yeah, it's been great. And we hope you have enjoyed this special, episode of the Random Red Shirt podcast. We thank you so much for listening and watching all over the globe and all over
the interwebs.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And we have a lot of stuff coming soon. A lot of stuff. We have so much stuff lined up. The queue is full. It's actually overflowing, and we cannot wait to bring that to you. So be sure to stay tuned for all those episodes coming soon to you, as well as future guest episodes to include ones that we've spoiled here on this episode. So be sure to stay tuned for more. We look forward to bringing you more content in the very near future. In fact, I believe, Chris, the next episode that we are going to record is next weekend to celebrate the release of Picard Season 3. It comes out at the time of this recording. It's going to come out in a little less than a week. So are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. As we know, my Captain Picard is or Admiral Picard. Captain Picard, Admiral Picard. Yeah, my favorite captain. So that's going to be great. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you for your patience for our tired brains, and because it's late and we can't even work technology. So enjoy the bloopers with that.
Yeah, I echo that again. Thank you so much for listening and watching on YouTube. Again, go on the social media pages, follow us there for less tired content and exhaustion. But we appreciate it as always. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Random Red Shirt podcast. Or should be doing this.